The most surprising thing I saw was the score of the Chargers Patriots game.
No,
The final score was 6-0. And I'm thinking, if that dude again is named Bill Smith, he's out of there.
gone.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the 400th episode of the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today, joining us on this Top Shelf Tuesday edition, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, thanks for joining us on the 400th episode of the OCP. How you doing, man?
Doing great. It's the wedding anniversary, so we're celebrating and we're having a blast. Having a great time.
All right, so fans, in segment one, we'll talk about the best, worst, and most surprising. Segment two, we'll talk about the Hall of Fame, or as I'm looking at it, the Hall of Very Good. And in segment three, we'll talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. And yes, I was actually quite entertained. But first, June 2021, Mike Francis and I taped our first episode. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and Mike kind of pushed me to it because the story goes his son AJ Francis, Top Dollar or just Dollar, heard us riffing back and forth and said, "Man, that sounds like a podcast." All I needed was an extra push. We got our main man Kelly and got the crew together, and we haven't stopped ever since. And Cotton Man joined us. Now he's a regular correspondent. We're happy to have him. So let's get into the NFL talk. Will, what was the best thing you saw today?
It wasn't today. It was this week on Thursday when the Cowboys beat the Seahawks. Traditionally, the Cowboys always lay an egg on big games like that, especially coming after Thanksgiving. And it was good to see them come on for string 2 wins in a row. Cowboys, y'all got to be, they're a good team. They're getting hot at the right time. So that was the best thing I saw this week for real.
All right, and I can live with that. And strictly for entertainment purposes only, I agree with you. So the best thing I saw today, Will, was the level of intensity in the Eagles 49ers game. You had fans booing the home team. That's Philly. You had players and coaches ejected for some sauciness.
That's all
Yeah,
that.
the brotherly shove. I love the brotherly shove, and that's why Roger Daltrey is going to get rid of it this whole season because it works, man. It was like first and goal on like the 4, and then they did the brotherly shove, and then second and goal, walk right in.
Right in there.
I'm
Right
like,
in there.
that's what I'm
Touchdown.
talking about. They're going to get rid of that. They had big plays from both teams. Now, again, it was a behind kicking, but man, I like saltiness. And when the 49ers player, did he mush the dude or I don't know. But I'm like, I'm all for those type of extracurricular activities in the football game. So, all right, what's the worst thing you saw, sir?
Gotta be the Pittsburgh losing to the Cardinals. I couldn't believe that they did it. They had a great season going so far. No one thought they would do well with Kenny Pickett, and now he just turned out to be this great season. All of a sudden, he just drops an egg on the Cardinals, and that puts some more in their turmoil in their team. And see what's going on with the season, and we'll see what's going on. But that was the worst thing I saw today, and it was terrible, and it ruined the ticket for me. So definitely the worst.
Ditto. And I thought Pickens got hurt because I heard Mitch Trubisky was playing, but I'm not sure of that. Worst thing I saw, and it had nothing to do with the NFL. Hey, you'll hear about it in great detail on Thursday, folks. But Florida State got screwed like Bret Hart, okay? They should be in the college football playoff. How can you keep out a Power Five conference champion? I'm not
Right.
understanding. So anyway, that's the worst thing I saw today. And on Thursday, we will go into great detail. But will Florida State should be in the college football playoff? All right, I got that out of the way. What's the most surprising thing you saw today, sir?
I got to see, and again, I'm gonna go back to the same team, man. The Cardinals, man. For some reason, they completely turned into a whole different team when Kyler Murray started playing again. They started having this electricity. These guys, even they lose, is an exciting game. The guy has something, and I can't put my finger on it, but the team loves him. He's an enigma. He's a little baby running around like a toddler with somebody with daddy's keys. But they love playing with him, man. I hope they actually utilize their draft pick and get some real help for him, whether it's the offensive line or the receiver. Either way, that's the biggest surprise for me. And even though they're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs, if they can figure something out, they're going to be an exciting team at least.
All right. So for me, the most surprising thing I saw was the score of the Chargers Patriots game. The final score was 6-0. And I'm thinking, if that dude again is named Bill Smith, he's out of there.
Gone.
He's gotta go. How can you come back from this? 7 Super Bowls, whatever. No, you can't do this.
You can't.
Man.
You can't.
And it rarely ends well. What are we doing, man? 6-0. You ruined Mac Jones, and he wasn't much to ruin in the first place. It's not going the right way. When I was assistant coach, sitting next to the legendary Hall of Famer Tom Dickman, I'd lean over Will and say, "Hey, Coach, we're going the wrong way. Okay, whatever was going on, let's not do that." Somebody needs to lean over to Bill and say, "Hey, man, going the wrong way. We need to do something else." That is awful.
They should have put him. They should have put him in the front office right when Brady left. When Brady left, just say, "All right, now you go right and be a GM. We're going to bring in a young coach, maybe even
don't say Josh McDaniels."
Yeah, Jace Daniels. Yeah, right. I mean, they could have been a whole different world, but they had their chance, and I think now they have to fire him because it's embarrassingly bad.
Fire him, Bill Belichick.
You can't. But when his contract ends,
I don't know when his contract ends.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
He can't come back. We got to find a way.
You know what's funny, Coach? Of all the coaches, no matter how bad he's doing, he's never in the hot water. Nobody's going to talk about on Monday. Talk about is Belichick in the hot water? Is he going to be fired? No, he's going to be no fired on no Monday. Shut up, guys. Try again next year.
You're in the National Football League and you got a donut, and the winning team scored 6. That's just bad math, man.
That was terrible.
Bad math.
I think we all lost. I think that's the all lost that game. Whoever paid like $60-$80 should have got their money back because they saw 6 points, and that was terrible.
Yeah, and I'm sure the weather in New England wasn't very good. All right, so fans, when we get back in segment 2, the list of names for the Hall of Fame have been released, and I kind of want to go through it with Cotton Man to see. Maybe I'm just being too hard on folks. We'll find out. We'll be right back on the iCoaches podcast.
The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in advocating for student-athlete, academic, and athletic needs. Through academic and athletic enrichment, the CKA SAVE Project is on the forefront of the issues facing 21st century student-athletes. As student-athletes continue to struggle to find a better balance between academic and athletic success, the CKA SAVE Project offers academic and athletic services to support student-athlete academic success, including academic skills assessment, academic and athletic consulting, academic monitoring, academic and athletic workshops. For more information or to schedule a free consultation, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
All right, welcome back to the iCoaches podcast in segment 2. Man, I got to talk about the Hall of Fame, okay? So, a group of 25 modern-day semifinalists were announced last week by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Here's some of the names that were mentioned, Will. 3-time All-Pro Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates, Tiki Barber, and 8 players who made it to the final 15 last year, including Jared Allen, Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Torrey Holt, Patrick Willis, Willie Anderson, Darren Woodson. They're all looking to get a shot because they fell short last year. And the other semifinalists, Eric Allen, Anquan Bolden, Jahari Evans, London Fletcher, Eddie George, James Harrison, Rodney Harrison, Robert Mathis, Steve Smith Sr., Fred Taylor, Hines Ward, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne, and Vince Wilfork. So here's how this works out, folks. The 28 semifinalists will be reduced to 15 finalists before final voting in January. The 15 finalists will be trimmed to 10 and then 5 early in 2024. The 5 candidates will need to get 80% of the vote from the panel to get into the hall. Peppers and Gates were both college basketball players, so kind of partial to them. 4 finalists previously announced to Buddy Parker in the coaching category, Randy Gradishar, who I actually remember, Steve Mongo McMichael, and prayers out to him as he goes through his illness, and Art Powell. They will also get in again if they get 80% of the votes. So, Will, I gave you a bunch of names in the pre-show notes. Is there anybody that you just say, man, that's a Hall of Famer? I don't even know why we're talking about it. What do you think, man?
Man, I like Peppers. I don't think he belongs because I don't know if he has the stats, but the longevity might work for me. Of all the people, if it says William, pick one person, it's got to be Antonio Gates. I think the only person that I think is warranted of actually going in the Hall of Fame. The rest of everyone you mentioned is the team of the Hall of really, really good. I don't know if I mean, there was guys that you were naming, and I was like, I remember him. Which, if you were great, I wouldn't come off like that. Like, oh yeah, but I just, I think it's just a down year, and I think this is one of those years where they're going to get a player who gets in that 15 minutes from now, we're going to be like, really? Devin Hester? Or,
Devin Hester, see, there's certain guys, like, he's a unique niche player, but he was one of the best of all times at returning kicks. But is that a Hall of Fame?
There are going to be a lot of good bar bet questions. When they bring it to the bar and they do these trivia, there are going to be a lot of good ones from 2023. Like, who got in from the 2023 Hall of Fame from the NFL? And you're like, Julius Peppers. Like, oh, you got it, man. It's going to be a lot of funny stuff, but it's good. There are going to be a lot of names that a lot of people will remember. And they're going to, the class is the class. You just, it's just where you happen to fall. So there's a couple guys who probably could have gotten in that didn't, and there's a couple guys who shouldn't get in, and they're going to get in anyway. So it's work. Well, it's kind of like the game of the draw, like whatever you get. But they got lucky. They got lucky the class they got in. So I mean, I think, but Gates is the only guy I would only vote for, like 100%.
All right, now some of these positions are kind of getting glutted. So I'm going to talk about a couple of wide receivers. So here's some names that are not in the Hall of Fame. Torrey Holt's not in. Reggie Wayne's not in. Andre Johnson's not in. Henry Ellert, who I remember, is not in. Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, Hines Ward, Harold Jackson, and then some recently retired or soon to be retired guys: Julio Jones, Larry Fitzgerald, Deshaun Jackson, Jimmy Smith, Sterling Sharp, and Rod Smith. Any of those names, just jump and say Hall of Fame, first ballot, no question.
Andre Johnson stand out to me. Always an All-Pro. Always was. He did it the right way. I think he's the kind of guy that you want to go. Reggie Wayne for sure. I think Reggie Wayne's supposed to go in there. And then those are only names that kind of stood.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fitzgerald is a one-time, first-time ballot, like he's in there, no problem. Steve Smith could sneak in there. I think Steve Smith does it the right way. I think he gets in. Anybody else I can think of? Nobody else that stands out outside of Larry. Larry's the only one like Larry's like above, like head and shoulders above than anybody you mentioned. Okay. So as long as anybody goes after Larry, you can say, okay, well, as long as Larry wasn't snubbed, everybody else who goes in, I can make it make a determination.
All right, and we'll close off with quarterbacks because that's the position. No. So notable names not in the Hall of Fame. Tom Brady's not eligible yet. Drew Brees is not eligible yet. Ben Roethlisberger is not eligible yet. Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers has not retired yet. And then you get Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Steve Air McNair, Tony Romo, Michael Vick, Eli Manning. You can't spell elite without E-L-I.
Right.
He's not eligible yet. Ken Anderson, Cam Newton is not officially retired yet. Yes, he is. And then Jim Plunkett. So out of those quarterback names to close out, is there anybody who's just like a no-brainer to you?
Oh yeah, Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan is a no-brainer.
Matt Ryan, he was MVP. I don't know. There's too many
What's
MVP.
MVP, man?
I mean, No. I mean, I could argue him being one of the elite quarterbacks at that time. But one of these, Coach, one of these, I noticed that Andrew Luck was actually on that ballot. People were talking about him and think, is he going to make it in the Hall of Fame based on his stats?
He just didn't play long enough.
I don't think so either.
So Brady gets in, of course. Brady will be first ballot. They love
Rivers. Rivers is in. I think Rivers is in. Rivers is in for sure.
What did he do other than
longevity?
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the best Chargers quarterback to ever wear their jersey and helmet.
Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts.
No. Forget it. Forget it. No way.
I'm not a prisoner of the day. Roethlisberger
No
gets in because didn't he win 2 Super Bowls?
2 Super Bowls. Yep. One when he
Rodgers
was
going to get in, even though he's a dynasty of one.
And he had a game winning throw on the Super Bowl. So that's forever. That's
where are you on? Where are you on ELI, man? Where are you on the elite Manning?
Eli's in there. Eli's in there for sure.
Look at them stats, man. Them stats.
Eli is there, man. He's part of the biggest story. Twice. Oh man, I mean, and a lot of people are going to say he's never MVP. He was never, top tier, but the guy was a baller, man. And part of the NFL fabric story of the fabric, he's part of that. He's got to go in. And he was Iron Man for the longest. I think he's the longest game started.
And then they,
unfairly did that, which is stupid.
Y'all do.
Which is and they benched it for who? Geno Smith.
It was Geno?
Yep. It was for one day, for 1 week, and then they put him right back. So he's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right. So fans, when we get back, we'll talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Be right back on the iCoaches podcast. And somebody's going to be really pissed that we didn't talk about whoever their favorite was, and we don't care. We'll be right back.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Well, yes, it was. Welcome back to the iCoaches podcast. And in segment 3, I will do the top 5 today because I'm just locked in to the NFL. So that performance by San Francisco knocks Philly out of the number 1 position, but not good enough to put San Francisco in there as number 1. So, Will, I'm going to go Kansas City 1. I'm going to go Eagles 2. I'm going to go Dolphins 3. I'm going to go San Francisco 4 because that was an impressive performance. And I'm going to go Baltimore 5 with Dallas just sneaking in because, again, I think you were right. On Thursday, they play really good football. And now this is when I start to lose money because I start to think I'm going to get that on a regular basis. I put my $10 bet in, and they start to let you down. Who are you thinking about, man? Did I get it right, wrong? Who would you move? What do you think about the top 5 this week?
You got it perfect, Coach. I think that's exactly where it needs to be. You know, lucky Baltimore didn't play this week, so we couldn't probably say anything. Because honestly, slightly, if just because they didn't play, I will put Cowboys slightly ahead of them. But everything else, Coach, is 100%.
Yeah. And the Eagles look bad today.
Yeah, they
They
didn't look
look
good at
really
all.
bad. They look awful. All right, my season long bets. Steelers. This is where I thought you were going to give me the 8 wins, and then I'm going to roll back. But they're 7-5. I got them over 8.5. So you got 5 games left, guys. Let's get my 2 wins so I go to the pay window. Jacksonville, they play on Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens with them. The Jets. Will, why is Aaron Rodgers trying to come back this year? Does he owe somebody money, or what does he do?
I'm guessing too. He must owe people money because I have no idea why he would come back.
The
I
Jets
have
are 4-8,
no.
going nowhere fast.
I mean, it sounds good, Coach. Sounds good. It sounds good. I mean, for idiots who read into that stuff, I mean, to you and me, we watch enough. We've seen enough that you ain't coming back, man. I mean, look.
All right.
Unless it must be like a ticket thing where the owner's like, hey man, you gotta play because you
Well,
owe me some
they
cheating.
said he might be trying to save dude's coaching job, and he doesn't want to deal with another coach. I don't know.
When the
All
last
right.
time you heard somebody who tore an Achilles and came back in 3 months?
Maybe he didn't tear it. I don't know. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
Chargers
hear you.
9-5. I mean, over 9.5. That's done because they're 5-7, and they're not going to win out. So I can just move on from there. Green Bay's teasing me, and they play Sunday night, so they're teasing me. Carolina, another dud there. Washington, you just look bad. I don't think Bieniemy's going to get the gig. So here's the thing with Bieniemy. Sam Howell's obviously a better player. He's got good stats, but they throw the ball too much. They don't run enough. And for me, Bieniemy just doesn't feel presidential to me. But hey, man, I'm not gonna win this bet. That's pretty much all I'm caring about.
Right, exactly.
And Seattle is 6-6. I got them over 8.5. That's gonna probably take me down to the last week of the season. All right, last week I was 3-2, and went to the pay window. This week I was 3-2 and went to the pay window. I am getting better with the NFL. Unfortunately, I am not getting better with college, but that's another story. I had Detroit minus 4.5. Will went to the pay window. I had the Chargers under 39.5. Should have bet more.
Right.
I had a 2-play with Denver under 47.5 and the Jets under 34. That was quality. I had a 3-play money line with Miami, Tampa Bay, and Pittsburgh. Come on, Pittsburgh.
Come on, Pittsburgh.
And my
Yeah.
upset didn't happen, but how often are you going to get the Eagles as a quality team, as an underdog? It just didn't work out for me. So there we go. Week 14 games of notes. Thursday, December 7th, New England against Pittsburgh. Did you hear that they flexed New England out of the Monday night slot?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I wouldn't be mad because I could have got to bed early, but thank you.
Man, I don't remember them flexing Monday nights very often, but they're doing it now.
Right.
Get the Patriots out of there. Okay,
yeah.
let's go Pittsburgh and knock that out. Next Sunday, Jacksonville against Cleveland catches my eye. Seattle versus San Francisco. And San Francisco looks like they're rounding home. Buffalo against KC. Denver against the Rams, and Dallas versus the Eagles on Sunday night. And we also have a Monday night doubleheader next week, Will. Tennessee versus Miami and Green Bay versus the Giants. Anything you're looking forward to, sir, as we begin to wrap up this episode?
2 games are really exciting me. I want to watch that San Fran Seattle game. I think that's going to be very intriguing because you got to throw the records out the window. They're going to play each other hard, and if they can steal one, it gets things a little bit more muddled in the playoff in the NFC. And then obviously you're going to watch Philly and Dallas. If Dallas wins, watch out. They're getting hot at the right time. They're beating the teams at the right time, and they're peaking at the right time. And that's the team that you want to beat going into the playoff. And then I still think Mahomes and Allen is still going to be a big draw. I still think it's a big name, a big arms. Even though Buffalo's not going anywhere, I think, the star attraction is going to be there. So the 3 games I'm really trying to watch, and Monday night, I guess I can relax, but I'm not excited about the Monday games.
Yeah, that Philly-Dallas game, with the Eagles being 10-2 and the Cowboys being 9-3, you're going to hear a lot of noise all week about that game, and yeah, that will be the game of the week. All right, so as we wrap up our 400th episode, the Odd Coaches podcast, every week we provide educational, entertaining, insightful, informative commentary about sports. We look at sports from the lens of coaches, players, administrators, parents. We love for you to like, subscribe, and share. I'm a lucky cat because I'm the North Star of this show, and everybody here that comes on has some connection to me, whether it was a player, a coach, or a colleague or something. And I get every week to talk to people I love and care about. Will, you jumped on probably about episode 57.
Right.
Any thoughts you'd like to share as we end up episode 400?
This has been a special show for me. When I joined the show, I had a stroke and I had a little difficulty speaking. And part of my therapy was actually going to the podcast, talking, using articulate language, being able to talk about my ideas and things I thought. So this was kind of like medicine for me. This healed me. And I couldn't thank Coach enough because it came at the right time. And, it put me in a situation where I can now still talk. I can, work. I can, interview for jobs and like that. So for me, it's being not only an outlet for sports, but it was a medicine for me and a therapy for me and something I needed. So I thank Coach for everything, all those episodes. They're not just your work, but they were something that helped me get better where I needed to get better. And I'm so grateful for everyone. Thank you much, Coach. And it's so much fun to be part of it. Well,
I appreciate you actually sharing that. Most of our fans don't know. Will, there was, I don't want to go too much in detail, but there was some challenges. And it was like, what happened? Oh, I probably should have told you, Coach. And that's kind of how our relationship's always been. It's like, I'm always the last to know stuff. So it was rather, therapeutic for us too, because it forces us to get together. And I'm glad we're together when nothing's wrong now. That's right. The beautiful thing. And everybody can come in and chop it up and have a good time. And it gets us all through. So I appreciate that. Fans, we appreciate you. So on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. We'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.